Hello, hello. Making part two for Margaret Thatcher. Yay! So, yeah, there's a couple of things I want to talk about. So, as I already talked about these things in my previous videos and also in my clay figure videos on the alien spaceship, the people that meet each other on the internet, they come to very quick conclusions about someone, and that happens very fast. I can think, oh, there's a Muslim apologist. I better treat him mean. yeah, I better show boundaries. And we need to. We have to show boundaries at all times, but we need to also listen to what the other people say, and we need to listen much more carefully what someone says before we come to some conclusion and say, that person is a Muslim apologist. I'm gonna throw that kid out with the bathwater. So, like, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't even need to listen to you. And yeah, I'm just gonna talk to other people. And then we totally miss the opportunity in getting to know more people and getting to know them more in depth, their storyline, their family background, what they have experienced, what they have been taught, the kind of schools they went to, and if we listen more to each other, if we really take the time to listen more to each other, then we can actually see the person for whom they are. So, and I've been doing this, when my papa dog died on December 10, 2019, I was a complete train wreck, for many months. I don't want to cry now. It was so bad that words cannot even describe it. So I have been a bitch on the internet during that time. I tried not to be because it goes against my philosophy, but I was a bitch. Only towards people who were attacking me, of course. But that's still not my philosophy to be a bitch to anybody. So whether that's Eli doing covert psychological cruelty with Margaret Thatcher, or if it's a Muslim man telling me that he's gonna cut my head off, he's gonna do an honor killing with me and then throw me into the river. So, or if it's someone projecting their own crap onto other people, accusing people of being bitter, accusing me of being bitter, when that is like totally not the case. I have never been bitter in my entire life, even when I was depressed. And the reason why is because nothing stays bottled up in me. Okay, people who are bitter, they have bottled up pain that they suppress. They don't feel. Okay, I feel my stuff. I have always felt my stuff, even before Annalise, that was my child therapist when I was 5, from 5 to 8. She helped me a lot. She discovered the primal scream because of me, because I was going into screaming fits, like real primal screaming, like it was primordial. And she thought, how can a little girl be screaming like this? How can a child be so full of hatred? And that had to do with my mother, of course. I was badly traumatized. Other kids would probably suppress that, or they might split off into different personalities to help them cope with that situation. I could never do that. I could never suppress. I could never split off in consciousness. So that's why I had these screaming fits, and I attacked my mother with a knife too. That's why she sent me to Annalise in the first place. And that was quite something. That was really amazing that I met Annalise. I met Annalise through my dad, who was friends with her husband, her husband was a very prominent person in the Club of Rome. Both of them have died. Annalise died a few years ago, and she was very old, like 94 or something. And her husband died during the 80s from leukemia. It was very, very tragic because he was torn inside. That's an illness that's very psychosomatic, and as everything is, because everything is interconnected. How we feel. If people are bottled up with something, like Eduard was with this evangelical Christian belief, yet he was a scientist at the same time. He was a mathematician, he was a professor, he was an ambassador for peace and for making friends worldwide and for bringing people together. He really meant to do some good with his work for the Club of Rome, and the book he has written, which I read 2 times. First time I didn't understand it that well. I was still too chaotic. And then the second time I read it when I visited my parents the last time. And I took some notes in the end. It had several empty pages, and that was really perfect. So I just wrote down some stuff with my marker, and I said that what really jumps at you when you read that book is, if you pay close attention, is the inner conflict that he was in between his scientific views and his religious beliefs. And I've seen this before. There was a young woman, and I didn't know how to deal with that at that time at the Marine Mammal Center, and I was always lecturing these people, the helpers, and also the people running it, and even including the veterinarian. And they don't like that. They don't like someone coming there and lecturing on how to deal with the animals. Of course, that goes against their egos. But that's what I mean. We need to listen more to everyone. It doesn't matter who that is. It could be the housekeeper, the toilet cleaning lady, the gardener. It could be a prisoner, an ex-inmate. It could be an old hippie. It could be a young hippie. It could be a dirty hippie, a clean hippie. It could be a conservationist. It could be a conservative. It doesn't matter who these people are, We need to listen more to what they have to say. I just knew what I said to her is the animals come first always, and often things do contradict themselves from what we are being told. What I would say to her today is you need to listen to your gut instinct. You need to listen to your heart. You need to listen to your mother instinct. Okay? You love that. That was a very sweet, loving girl from Texas. She was doing internship there, and and I said, what matters is that we that the animals are safe, And I saw that she cared about the animals very much. So what I would say to her now is, you love the animals. That's all you need to know. Okay, you don't need to know some kind of bullshit religious indoctrination. Question all of that. Okay, if it's tearing you apart on the inside, as with Edward, then you need to question religious indoctrination. Okay, that's what I would say to Edward now too. Okay, I would give him a long lecture on that. Back then, I was a kid. I didn't know. I was chaotic. That was during my party time. I couldn't even think clearly, with all the partying all the time. Horrific, What a waste of time and brain cells that had to die from alcohol consumption. How sad. So I need every single one of my precious brain cells, of my neurons, okay, and the beautiful axons, the beautiful electric cords that snake themselves throughout the entire brain, making crisscross connections with everything and docking onto everything. Yes, I'm not putting you in the video. And the more connections we make, the better we're off, because we need to make all of these random connections in the brain. So, and when we sleep, that has to be processed into something cohesive, into wholesome knowledge that still has its order, where you order everything into the different shelves, where you know where you can find it, where it's not jumbled up all into a chaos. That's very important. We need a lot of sleep, and we need a lot of meditation and inwardness process. Okay, I can't wait to go to the desert to set up the therapy help center. I'm going to start with 5 people or maybe 10 people, depends on who I can find for this, who is ready for this. I can only take interns, I can only take trainees. We cannot have an official therapy center where I can take in customers, clients, patients. I can't do that. I don't have that license. In California, everything is over-regulated, and that's totally counterproductive, because there are so many people out there that have way more to say than physicians or actual trained therapists that have that the therapist certificate from California. So there are people that are way more competent that don't have any of these certificates or diplomas on the wall. So I dropped out of university because of my own psychological problems, my mental illness. It was very, very bad. Even 3 years in primotherapy in LA, I went back to Germany then continued my studies at the university because I don't have to pay a tuition there. I didn't at that time, at least. I don't know how they are doing that now. It's probably gonna go down the drain, everything. So I don't know. I don't even want to know. So, but at that time, school was free, and I think that's very important to have free schools. Very important. But we need internet schools instead of actual building schools, because actual university campuses are becoming way too dangerous now for people. People are being bullied, people are bullied psychologically into suicide, people are blackmailed, people are rounded up, people are raped, people are beaten. There's honor killings happening on university campuses, and people will go along with this and say that's their culture. We need to allow them to do honor killings, right? No, we don't. Okay, absolutely not. So, and all of this needs to be talked about. All of this needs to be said. It's super important. So, and in order to have a clear mind, so that people don't fall into these kind of Stockholm syndrome traps, where they think now they owe whoever they think had been discriminated against in the past. Now they owe them whatever, they owe them their bodies? No, they don't. Okay? We need to protect our bodies. We need to protect our boundaries. We need to stand up for our boundaries. This is very important. Women in particular. Okay, so women fall prey to violence way more than men do. And maybe children fall prey to violence more than women. I don't know exactly the statistics of it, but I can imagine that's what it is. So that's why it is very important that people start to take that journey into their own minds, and they get educated on things, and they start questioning things, so that they don't get physically sick like Eduard was an illness that is completely representative for that inner tug-of-war that was going on inside of him. You know, this inner contradiction of beliefs and of what he knows, between being a scientist and a fundamentalist Christian. This is totally contradictory. And that's why, you know, we need to listen to rationality. We need to listen to what's actually here, what we see, what we feel. You know, I feel love for the animal. So that comes first. That comes before religion, before some kind of commandment from anyone. I mean, that's obvious. Yes, Nicola, it's obvious. Yes. Yes, it is. So love comes first, and rationality and truth and all of that is love. All of that is being humble and being willing to look at the facts and make the best out of your life, make the best out of our lives. It's very important that we do that. So what else did I want to say? I can only take trainees in the beginning. They have to be completely sober. They cannot be on any kind of substance. They cannot even ever go back on any kind of toxic substance. And I also want them to phase out pharmaceutical drugs if they are on some. Definitely quit all narcotics, even if they are pharmaceutical based, like Vicodin. Quit all of that. You have to quit all. You have to completely quit all the toxins, all of it. And I want people to quit eating meat. Once in a while, they can have chicken or turkey. Okay. That's already unethical enough. Okay, but it's not near as unethical as eating highly sentient mammals like pigs, horse, cow. And some people eat dogs and cats. Okay, all of that needs to be abolished. All of that. Pigs are also very intelligent, and horses and cows, pigs in particular, they are more intelligent than dogs are. Okay, so very loving beings, they feel shame even. It makes me cry. Dr. Temple Grandin wrote about that in her book on what's going on in the factory farms. Absolutely heartbreaking. So very important that we eat whole food and ethical food. Very important, as ethical as we can, and mainly plant-based and with lots of raw. I would say 60% raw plant food is the absolute ideal for our systems. That is also how we evolved. We evolved to eat raw plant food. Very important that all the nutrients that are in the plants, that are in raw plants, that we just grab from the tree, and not be buying in a supermarket where it has been shipped, where it has been sprayed, where it has been handled by other people with the virus. So we need to grow our own food, and that is the purest that we can do, and that's very important. I always like to play with my wobble chin. So I wonder if Margaret Thatcher did that too. No, I bet she didn't. That was a very serious woman, highly intelligent. I read about her yesterday, so I got curious. Needed to see the photos of Margaret Thatcher at different stages in her life. So, yeah, you can see in her childhood photos, highly intelligent girl. Okay. Leader type of person, alpha type of person, but very austere. I don't know if she had humor. I don't know. I can't tell from the photos. So those are usually photos when she was talking to other politicians. And there wasn't very much humor going on or playing with the wobble chin. So, which is sad, because I think in order to be diplomatic, we also have to come down from the pedestal, particularly from the psychological pedestal, and we need to love ourselves. And see, when people are on some kind of psychological pedestal, that's not real self-love. They don't really love themselves. When they take themselves super seriously, that's a counter reaction from the ego. So if you love yourself, if you truly love yourself and your body, you can also laugh about yourself. You can laugh about situational comedy, and you can laugh with other people about situational comedy, and that's the state of being in the flow, being being in the now moment, being in communication with the infinite cosmos, because the infinite cosmos brings us these kind of things, as presents. And when people are standing on a pedestal, they have disconnected themselves from that inner child, from that attunement to the infinite cosmos. And that's infinitely sad. And some people have disconnected themselves to the point where they are so worried about their social standing, which is the ego, that they'll put that above anything else. They put that above romance, they put that above love, they put that even above their lust, they put it above their food preferences, and the list goes on. That's what's happening, and I think that's infinitely sad. So the people that are working with me on setting up the therapy help center, those are all going to be trainees, and I know exactly how to do it now. It's like lots and lots of learning and trial and error, and finally it's like, yes, I know it now. Like, okay, I get it now. I can do it, I know exactly how to do it. So this is totally rock solid now, that knowledge that I have on how to set that up. And everything is a little bit risky, I try to avoid the worst type of risks. So I'm not gonna meet a Burrito Bandito, no matter how much he looks like a male model for men's underwear. No, I'm sorry. I can't do it. I can't. Okay. I also don't trust his supplements. So I'm sorry. This is not personal. It really isn't. We need to be careful. And if he cares, then he knows that it's good that I'm careful. And he also said something like this, and I appreciate that. So that gets my respect. But I'm still careful. I'm still not gonna. That's still not gonna turn me into trusting and driving over there. So no, I have to be very careful. I have been beaten in the past. I have to be very careful who I associate with and who I fall in love with. I haven't fallen in love with anyone yet. So there's a couple of crushes that I have, and I feel something, okay, but I am not going to fall in love until I know, and it's gonna be one man, it's not gonna be 10. Okay? I don't want a harem, so I'm just joking about this now because, harem, kind of like, in terms of communication on the internet, so that's not, Paul calls them boyfriends. Those are not boyfriends yet, so I've been joking about that too, like my internet boyfriends. They're not boyfriends yet, so this is more like an evaluation phase that I'm going through right now, and I take my time with that. I want to get to know people first before I fall in love with someone. And it has to be someone who is absolutely on board with my work and who will work with me and who will support me on this. And if he is younger than me, then that would be even better for obvious reasons, but also for work-based related reasons, because I want to train people who are younger than me and who can eventually take over that center. I don't know if I am going to get shot or assassinated one day, or if I get older. But if they're younger, then they're gonna definitely live longer than I do. Either way, so I want people to like Vera Wilhelmsen, who is absolutely fantastic. She's in her 20s and an amazing soul, an amazingly advanced soul, God level soul. Okay, so I want people like that to be my trainees, and I know Vera she already knows all of that. I wouldn't even have to teach her. It's just more like, okay, I'm sharing with you how I do it and how I view it. And I want all of your opinion on it, and I want all of your input on it. It's not like I'm standing on a pedestal. I'm not standing above anyone. This is an eye level communication. Okay? It's just that I have a lot of information. I have gathered a lot of knowledge on the subject of therapy, and that's what I want to pass on to other people, so that they can continue this, so that we can set up something that is perpetual, okay, throughout the generations into the future, hopefully going to Mars and Moon and beyond, so that people have this tool for the inwardness meditation process. Okay, we hear a lot of people talk about meditation. Some of them are getting closer to this. Some of them, like Dr. Arthur Janoff and Annalise, my child therapist, they got a lot closer to this, to that what I'm working on. But I don't want to make the video too long, then it might it might vanish in the Google file and get swallowed up by the hackers. But so we'll see. Maybe I'll make it a few more minutes. So some of those people have gotten very, very close to this. Teal Swan's doing excellent work. It's my personal approach. This is just my personal view on this. I'm not saying the other people are wrong or something, or I wouldn't do it the way they do it, but they have very good approaches, and they have a lot of information. I just put everything that works together, including Tony Robbins. Put everything. I'm not into NLP as Tony Robbins was, but Tony Robbins' personal approach to it is already a little bit beyond NLP. It's already a little bit deeper. It goes a little bit more into meditation already. It's not just about programming, okay? There's a lot more going on in us, and there's childhood inflamed trauma, as Dr. Arthur Janoff pointed out, that has to come up, that wants to come up. Teal Swan understands that. Vera Wilhelmsen understands that, okay? We need to develop this process where this is a rock-solid process where we are radically honest to each other at all times and to ourselves, okay? And where we go absolutely into our own minds instead of, and this has to always be explored from every angle possible, from every scenario and interaction and social dynamic and situation and any kind of drama and any kind of fights or any kind of problems that are arising between people, okay? We need to look at all of this, and we need to understand that the only path that we have is to take this into our own minds and ask ourselves the question, what is it here in this situation with all of these other players involved? What is it that I want? What is it actually that I want? Nicola, what do I want for my life? Okay, what is it? Is it jealousy? Am I jealous of her? Yes. Okay, so, or am I feeling ignored? Yes. Or Am I mad at him because he accused me of being stupid or something, or not informed? Yeah, it's all of these things. So I let go of the other people. I take it into my own mind and I say, okay, so I'm feeling these things. So let me feel it. Let me actually feel it, and let me actually see what this feeling has to say to me. And let me cry with it. Let me cry it out. And then I am healing my past trauma, even if I'm starting in the present moment. Sometimes it goes into the past. It does. The need for a man to hold me goes to my mother every single time. Okay, I end up screaming like a baby, like really like a newborn baby. Okay, and I've seen that with many other people at the center, at Art Janov's Primer Center. So, but my therapy does transcend that also, uses that, learns from it, and transcends it, and it goes beyond it. And that's the way evolution works. And with any kind of thing, it is based on something else, and grows into something else. And Arjanov would welcome that, that I really paid attention to his lectures, probably more than anyone else. And he and his wife, they recognize that. I think they have seen that I not just paid attention, but I felt it viscerally, what they are trying to say. So, and I take that very seriously, and I want to help other people, and I want to help move this forward. Okay, you guys take care.